You want to plant vining plants like cucumber and melon and gourds like squash, but they take up so much room in your garden bed and you don't have much room for anything else. In this video, I'm going to show you a secret hack on how to plant your favorite vining plants and have room to plant all of the other plants you want to plant. Let's get busy. I'm Cameron, welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. I want to share a concept with you called vertical gardening and how that's going to help you maximize your gardening space. It's worked for us. I want to talk through what vertical gardening is, how to do it, some of the things to keep in mind as you're planting and training, and if you stay tuned to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a few things that I got wrong that I wish I had done differently. All right, let's get to the first step. We love planting vining plants like these pumpkins behind me. The problem with vining plants is that they take up so much space. This one pumpkin plant with 10 pumpkins on it is taking something like 100 square feet of gardening space, which is way too much. If there's a way we can take that and move that upward, that frees up all of this space to be able to plant other stuff. Here we planted spaghetti squash in a traditional way, just on the ground, and you can see that the vine is sprawling. We've got a bunch of squash that are hiding underneath those leaves, and we're catching this a little late in the season, so the leaves are kind of turning a little brownish, but the squash is under there. But have you ever seen squash going in this direction? Look at all the squash that's hanging off of there. This is the advantage of vertical gardening. By taking all of these vines and sending them up, it frees up all of this space underneath to plant other types of plants. And actually over here, we brought up 50 pounds of potatoes in this space. And that was only possible because we sent the squash up over the top. So we had squash up here, potatoes down here, and that kind of freedom of space is a real advantage for this. Aside from the space it creates, planting vertically prevents a ton of pest damage. Here, as you see, this squash has all of these little bugs and aphids on it, but the ones that are hanging vertically have really nothing. They're super clean. Another issue is rodent damage. We haven't seen it as much on our squash, but on our cucumbers, all of this stuff that was laying on the ground and really low that rodents could touch had bite marks in it, but this stuff that was higher up was totally free from being attacked by rodents. So keeping pests at bay is another big advantage of growing vertically. Another big advantage of planting vertically is being able to see the fruits and veggies that you're growing so that you can harvest them and know when they're ready to harvest. Under here, sometimes the fruit and squash get hidden under leaves and you're piling and pulling stuff away. But when you come over here, all of the things that are hanging on the vine are visible. You can see when they're ready to harvest. You can see if there are any issues that need attention. It just gives you a ton more visibility on the part of the plant that you really care about most. Aside from rodents and bugs and those types of things, there are also pathogens and things that can happen and hang out in the soil. So when you've got things that are sitting on the soil, not only do they get dirty with all sorts of junk, but all of those pathogens and things that are in the soil can easily get in them and just spoil and mess up your plants and the things you want to harvest. Something to consider when you're planting things vertically is you want to pay attention to the type of fruit that it's going to be. In this case, this squash is easily supported by this trellis, but if you're going to grow a full-size watermelon or one of these giant pumpkins, probably should not. So if you're thinking of planting something, look at the specific thing that you want to plant and make sure that it's something that could be supported by a trellis. Okay, let's talk about how we built this and what we made this out of. Okay, the ingredients for any kind of trellis is you need some sort of structure that's going to go up, and whether that be nylon netting or something like I'm using the sheep panel, all of those, as long as they can go upright, that's what you want, is something that can maintain the weight of whatever the plant is that you're putting on it. Now, I love this sheep panel because it's really easy to work with. I drove in these steel T-posts into the ground, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. We took the sheep panel, we just bent it and just dropped it in place. And gravity is holding this thing in place and it's been performing wonderfully. So this is a super easy setup if you're wanting it, and it provides enough strength for all of the stuff that we're wanting to grow on it. Now when you're planting your plant, you're going to want to put it about 1 foot away from the panel. So put the panels in place first and then plant your plant, partly so you don't smash it by accident. And at that point, you'll have an opportunity to train it. Something you're going to want to do is come out every couple of days and ensure that you are training it the way you want to go. Something I'm going to get to in a minute is what happens when you miss those windows and the plant kind of goes all over the place. But training it up onto a trellis you've got a couple of options. One, you can take and just weave it through the trellis as you come out. Another way is you can just use gravity to go over the top of the trellis. Something that I've liked doing is using something like one of these clips or one of this thing that kind of wraps around and locks in place, or you can use gardener's tape or twisty ties, whatever you want to use to attach this vine to the trellis so that way it's able to continue growing in the direction that you want it is going to give you success. Okay, now I need to share with you the things that I got wrong. One issue was that I planted the plants way too close to the trellis, and so when the vines were emerging, I didn't see some that went this way, and that's why they invaded this part of the garden bed. I didn't see them until they were gone, and then by pulling them through, I realized I would probably break them, so I just let them continue growing in this area. The thing about growing things on a trellis is that they take more attention than if you just put it on the ground and come back 2 months later and harvest everything. When you're going up a trellis, you're needing to make sure that those vines are going in the direction that you want, and so that way you don't end up with something that's just hanging out here. We were gone for like 3 weeks and came back, and well, I guess we've got a long-term hanger here. A final thing I think I would have done differently if I were to do it over again is to prune off the vines that are going in directions that I don't want. Once I have all of the vines going up my trellis, I should prune off all of the other ones so that way the plant can devote all of its energy to going up and over the top of the trellis. In the interest of time, we didn't cover everything in this video. While you're at it, have you grown stuff vertically? Why don't you let me know down below? All in all, growing vertically has given us all of those benefits. We freed up a ton of this space. It's looked beautiful as it's gone over the top. It's made it easy to harvest the fruit and vegetables as they become ripe. And so we absolutely would do this over again. Click this link right here because this is going to show you other stuff we're growing in the garden, things that are coming up, things that we've already done, and whether you've got one thing you're growing in your garden or 500. Until next time, stay busy.